How's it going, guys? Coming at you with a ballistics review of this round right here, which is the American Eagle 223 Varmint tip stuff. You guys have seen this on my channel a lot, okay? This is just one of my favorite ammunitions. For one, it's extremely affordable, and it performs so stinking well. It's very, very accurate. I've had a few different rifles that have really loved this. One was a Remington 700 bolt action gun with a 1 in 12 twist rate. This thing, that would shoot this stuff just over a half minute all day long. That rifle absolutely loved this load. And, you know, I found it to be, you know, really sub-minute accurate in a lot of rifles. The original Project SPR, which was a 16-inch barrel, 1 in 9 twist. It shot 3/4 minute with this stuff a lot, pretty consistently. And, you know, we've shot this through all 3 of the barrels that we've had on the Project SPR 2.0. And, you know, it's done very well. I think, you know, right around, you know, a minute-ish accurate with in those rifles. But yeah, so just pretty well, you know, almost match grade ammunition from American Eagle. So, but in the past, I've touted this as a viable home defense load. And it's always bothered me that I've kind of just assumed that it would perform really well, and I have never done a ballistics test on it. So I wanted to do a ballistics test to show you guys how well it performed and just kind of back up my opinion with data, with fact. And so we took this out and we shot it into the clear ballistics gel. We did it through 4 layers of denim. Okay, you know, 4 layers of denim, you know, is it really going to affect a ballistics tip like this? Probably not, but we did it anyway just to be consistent in our protocols. And I've got to say that, and I'm just going to kind of roll in the footage of the results as I'm talking here. I've got to say that I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm disappointed because I figured that it would perform a little differently than it did. The first shot that we shot out of the rifle, which is the SPR 2.0, which is which is an 18-inch barrel. The first shot we got 3,092 feet per second. And it penetrated a total penetration of 9 inches. Now at the 9-inch mark, we actually, the fragment actually exited the block and we weren't able to find it. So we got incomplete information on that, but we got 9 inches of penetration. Now the second shot, we had 3,115 feet per second, and it penetrated a total of 6 3/4 inch, which just is astounding. It really did not penetrate very well. We were able to collect this fragment from the gel block, which is just like a little splat of lead and a little bit of copper jacket, and probably the core or the base of the round is probably what this is, and it weighed 12.6 grains. Okay, and we recovered that at just shy of 7 inches. That is not great penetration wise. That is not great. Now between really the 1 and 5-inch mark, we had extreme expansion, extreme fragmentation from this load, which is exactly what I expected from the VMAX. I expected to have just, you know, dramatic expansion and fragmentation, and just did massive amounts of damage, that permanent cavity. And if this being like a front chest shot, you know, like even if it only penetrated in 7 inches, that's almost to the back of the chest, and just massive damage. I mean, totally lethal. The stopping power with a front-on chest shot would be very, very devastating with this load. And so, would it get the job done? Yeah, absolutely. You know, at 3,100 feet per second, you know, that's an 18-inch rifle. You're looking 3,000 feet per second probably with a 16-inch rifle, somewhere thereabouts. We might even get less. We probably get 2,900. You know, you're not going to see quite as much velocity with your shorter carbines. However, you know, when we're talking that speed at over 3,000 or right around 3,000 feet per second, you're going to have, you know, huge amounts of hydrostatic shock, and you're just looking at a lot of energy dump. So we're not talking about a pistol round here. And so, you know, you've got to consider not just penetration, but also the amount of energy that we're dumping into the system, and that's a lot. And so, you know, I think that has to be considered when we're talking about the terminal ballistic performance of this load. But I'm definitely not as for this as a home defense load as I was previously, just because of the under penetration. I really thought we were going to get more penetration from this load. I really did. But you know, shy of 7 inches on the second shot. We had right at the 9-inch mark on the first shot. 9 inches, if we were able to fire like 10 shots into the gel and all of them penetrated to right around 9 inches, I would say 100% this is a go-to. But you know, the fact that we are, you know, almost 2.5 inches shy of that mark with the second shot, you know, that's something that I think needs to be considered. And so I'm not as for it for home defense as I was before. You know, especially because, you know, we have the sternum, which is, you know, like a 1/2 centimeter deep, you know, or between 1/2 and 3/4 centimeter in depth. We have ribs. You know, will these punch through a sternum and ribs? Absolutely, it will. However, what's going to be the penetration after that? It might not be great. And so that's something that has to be considered as well. And maybe we can do a test in that in the future if we can get some, you know, like beef ribs or something like that to shoot through. But yeah, so there's one other point that I want you guys to consider, though, and that is the fact that this is that the underpenetration is a negative when we're talking terminal ballistics into a living system. It's also a strength if you consider that in the home defense scenario, you don't want overpenetration through interior walls and exterior walls. And the one thing about these kind of bullets, these ballistics tips, the VMAX bullets, they're not going to be good barrier penetration. They're going to really suck at barrier penetration. And that's actually a good thing when you're talking home defense, because you don't want this thing punching through, you know, multiple interior walls. And so you're going to have less likelihood that this is going to overpenetrate in the interior, and that's a good thing. So there's a positive and a negative from the characteristics that we're getting from this round. So that's something to be considered. And so, you know, I'm not in the tank for this as a home defense load. However, you know, I'm like 50-50, right? Like, would I still use this as a home defense load? Probably. You know, considering the fact that we're getting the amount of energy that we're getting from this load, you know, home defense scenarios are going to be very close up. I really definitely think it's gonna do the job, and you're gonna have less likelihood of overpenetration. So I'm probably 60-40. I'm probably 60% for it being used as a home defense load and 40% against. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely something that I would consider. You guys are gonna have to ultimately make the choice as to whether or not you think that this is a viable choice. So that's kind of gonna be up to you. But I'm just kind of presenting to you my info, my information, and let you guys make the choice. So if you guys are liking this video, hit that like button, okay? And if you have a comment, okay, I want to hear what you guys think about this load. I want to hear your opinion on it. What do you think? Would you guys use this as a home defense load? Leave it in the comment section down below. And if it's a yes, tell me why. If it's a no, tell me why. So I'd really appreciate your guys' feedback, especially when someone comes to this video and says, okay, this guy's saying this is going to be a great home defense load or whatever. I want them to be able to go through the comment section and hear multiple different opinions on it. You know, and that way they can kind of be guided a little bit more into making an educated decision. So anyway, guys, hopefully this isn't you know, too slash dash for you. I kind of just, like I said, I get kind of perfectionist on these kind of videos, and I didn't really want to overdo it. So it's just a little presentation of my results. So I really appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.